Hi, this is Bob Scully, and welcome to another edition of our show. My guest tonight has a very beautiful, very moving, but at the same time dark and tragic story to tell. And he tells it very well, both in a book he's written, which I'll be able to describe to you briefly in a few seconds, and in the interview you're about to see. His name is Mikal Gilmore. He's the young man you see just behind me in the tan jacket. But before we talk about the book, take a look at the other face. Does it ring a bell? Does it flash back? That's Gary Gilmore, the convicted murderer in Utah who a few years ago asked to die. You remember? He refused all appeals on his behalf. It became the famous book by Norman Mailer, The Executioner's Song. Gary Gilmore was intent on having his blood spilled. Now, the title of the book written by his brother Michael is Shot in the Heart. And there's Gary, the young man, and you can see that the triangle is kind of a symbol of what will one day happen to Gary Gilmore, because it is a firing squad that will put him to death in the state of Utah. The Mormons, ghosts, incredible violence, a tangle of human relationships within the family, all those things are part of Mikal Gilmore's story. And when you first read it, if you, as I had done, have read Norman Mailer's Executioner's Song, you think, well, this is kind of the remake, this is, the sequel, this is a testimonial from inside the family, but what can it really add? You couldn't be more wrong than that, and I was stunned. I started with that point of view, and then as I found out about the Gilmore family, both Michael, Gary, the other two brothers, and the two parents, and their antecedents in Mormon Utah, I started to realize the whole thing made sense in a very different way. It's like a dream. It's like a nightmare taking place in broad daylight. It is absolutely incredible, and fortunately, Michael is very good at explaining briefly some of the tangles that are in there. People who are the sons and daughters of people they didn't imagine, people who imagine that they are descended from famous people and they're not, entire families being hidden from view elsewhere in the U.S., and always violence and cruelty. And it all comes together eventually in the character of Gary Gilmore, who will ask to be put to death and to spill his blood as Mormon creed demands. Here's Mikal Gilmore, who is speaking to me from Los Angeles. Another one of your brothers, Galen, was murdered. We didn't have time to get into that, but he was a poet. You are an excellent, great writer. Gary Gilmore had artistic talent. It begs the question, if Frank Gilmore had not beat his four sons so badly, what kind of family would it have been?
It's a very good question. Nobody has asked me that question before. I think it could have been a family of extraordinarily smart and talented young men. Gary, as you said, Gary was a gifted natural artist. He had a terrific hand that he never had any training or schooling in developing. It came to him naturally. He developed it by himself. My brother Galen was an incredibly intelligent young man with a great gift for poetry and prose. My brother Frank, I think, probably would have gone on to be an entertainer, much like Harry Houdini, the rumored grandfather. He had a great gift as a magician. I probably would have gone on to become a writer, or perhaps something else. But one of the things that has always troubled me is that, for some reason, I was able, in doing the kind of work I've done as a writer, to take a real pleasure and meaning and satisfaction from that. Gary and Galen never could do that in their lives. Gary, who is probably more talented than anybody in the family, never really found meaning or pleasure in the art that he created. And I know deep in my heart that not for one moment in his life did Gary ever really consider a career or life as an artist, even though he could have had at least a successful commercial career.